Now you're welcome back. President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo is expected to meet with the NPP National Executive Committee today as speculations mount on which top positions are up for grabs and who will be appointed to them. Well, a list of ministers and appointees is expected to come out sooner than later if assurances by the party's campaign chairman, Peter McMenu, is anything to go by. The meeting, which is expected to take place any moment, will heavily focus on the formation of the new cabinet.
But I know that whatever Nana will do, he respects the party and the party machinery, and he will bring it on board to the National Executive Committee, who should be holding a meeting pretty soon, maybe tomorrow.
Can we draw an inference that, based on the manifesto drawing that was done, the key individuals who are speaking for the key sectors, will they automatically become the ministers?
Well, the key minister, the key people who are speaking for the various sectors in the manifesto or the policy are all able and competent people.
Do they stand a better chance?
I think not better chances, but they are competent, and Nanado wants competent people. And then also the constitutional implication, because the Constitution says they must come from Parliament, there must be some women. We made that promise to bring women on board, regional balances and so on. So he will take all these things into account.
Have you made a choice of who the independent prosecutor will be?
Well, Nana hasn't made the choice yet, but I know he will make it and bring it to the National Executive. It's very dear to his heart as an incorruptible man.
Will it be someone he's worked from the law firm, from his law firm?
I can't tell.
Will it be Martin Amidu?
I can't tell for now. But all the people you are mentioning, whether it's from his law firm, Martin or whoever, they are all competent people and they can do the job very well. That's what we need.
Now, with the polls over and the transition process underway, the question on the lips of many Ghanaians is who will the president-elect Nana Akufo-Addo choose to help him run his government? Speculations are rife on who will go where, and already some names are being circulated in the media as the first batch of ministers who will form the new cabinet. So what will President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo look for in a potential appointee who will serve in his administration? He's been speaking to the BBC about this.
The Ghanaian economy has been in the nosedive for the last 5 years, shrinking on an annual basis, and low growth, widespread unemployment, and huge debt. That's the reality of our situation in Ghana, and especially the unemployment amongst the youth has reached alarming proportions. And if we don't find a method of dealing with it, our country and society are going to run into all kinds of problems down the line. So my major priority is what we need to do to get our economy working again, expanding and growing rapidly.
A big part of your campaign was about rooting out corruption. How do you intend to deal with that?
We put out a whole lot of ideas, which are both again in our manifesto and in the things that I'm saying about institutional reforms, personal examples that myself and the leaders of our party and government have to give. There's a mix of ideas that we believe will go a long way to reducing the incidence of corruption in our national life and giving us the opportunity to put our society and economy on an even keel.
Do you intend to prosecute people from the previous administration?
We have decided that as much as possible, we want to take the politics out of it, so that screams of witch hunting, etc., don't arise, by establishing an office of special prosecutor, of somebody who will be independent of the executive and whose remit will be to investigate and tackle issues of corruption. And hopefully that person is going to be somebody who commands the respect of the society and at the same time has an independent mind to make the decisions.
We've just heard that the outgoing Gambian president is asking for a rerun of the election that he lost. What would be your approach to that kind of situation?
I think this, hopefully, is a development that the regional body ECOWAS is going to take up and make sure that the stability of the Gambia, the peace of the Gambia, the freedom of the Gambian people continues to be the main objective. But I would hesitate to pronounce strongly on it because I don't have the facts. I'm not quite sure why he has. The initial information we had was that he had accepted the results. Why today he has resigned, I'm not quite sure.
I know it's too early to be talking or thinking about legacy, but by the end of your term in office, what difference do you hope your leadership would have made to the ordinary person, the people who voted for you?
In two ways. One, that the economy of Ghana is working better for them. Young people are getting jobs. The standard of living in Ghana is within the reach of the ordinary budget. That the income levels are rising in Ghana. That we are producing more and more things in our country rather than depending on others to produce them for us. We want an economy that is expanding and growing. That would be the main concern that I would have, the concern about the legacy. And secondly also, that Ghana is being run in a manner where the interests of ordinary people are the focus of the governance of our country. Our institutions, the way in which we go about solving the problems of state and politics is about satisfying the needs and aspirations of ordinary people. This would be what would be for me a very acceptable, if you want to call it, legacy.
Now, the New Patriotic Party is set to contest the election results of some 5 constituencies in the Western region where they lost parliamentary seats. The NPP says it is heading to court for an order to have ballot papers recounted manually or possibly run fresh elections in these constituencies. NPP Western Regional Secretary Charles Bissiou explained that the party was always in the lead in the Swaman constituency, but surprisingly lost the seat by some 12 votes. Other constituent candidates, including the PPP's John Sterling, who lost their Commander Edina Egwafu-Ebrim constituency, is also calling for a manual recount of the ballot. NPP Western Regional Secretary Charles Bissiou joins me now in the studio to have some discussion on this. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and good morning to you all.
First of all, what are you doing in Accra?
I'm on exile from the Western region for a while because I've been asked to go and look for some 5 seats that has been taken away from us illegally.
So tell us about these 5 seats. Which seats are these?
Okay, prior to the elections, we had 8 seats. The NDC were in the majority, and after this election, our target was a minimum of 16 seats. We had that minimum, and there was an extra 5 that were taken from us. That 5 is our Win, Swaman, Dwaboso, Amenfi Central, and Elembele.
You allege that these seats were taken illegally from you. Why do you say that?
Exactly. You know, the CI 94, which actually was used to run this election, was basically says that the votes will be counted at the polling stations. Once it is done, it will be declared there. Once it's declared, we go to the collation center to collate it. During that time, we had our own system or mechanism in collating results. That is how come Chairman McMahon, who is the campaign manager, went ahead and actually called some of the results that we are actually in the lead. He did not declare it. When he did that, we already had our results. In our Menfi West, I think in the last by-election, we piloted that mechanism there. So it was replicated across the country. So by 8 p.m. in the Western region, we had all our results. We knew we'd won Elembele, Suaman, Dwaboso, Amenfi Central, and our Win. Only for us to wake up the next morning, which was on the 8th, for us to be told that there was a recount done at the collation center, and MPP lost the seat, and then NDC have taken over them.
Did you have your agents at the various polling stations?
Oh, we did. They did the job. It was counted there. It was we were declared winners in most of the polling stations. And then when it gets to the collation center, that's where we put everything together for us to win the constituency. And as I said earlier on, we knew that we'd won per our figures.
And you are alleging that a day after the result had been declared in the various polling stations?
No, not declared. When after counting, we knew the results that we had. And then at the collation center, they called for a recount of the votes that were coming from the polling station. It was then that the NDC said they've won.
Why was there a recount at the collation center?
Because they alleged that it hadn't been counted properly.
And at the time when the recount was being done, did you have your agents there?
We did in the collation center. And that's what I'm saying. You know, there's a mechanism where the EC were using, i.e. the electronic work. But then our point was buttressed by Mrs. Charlotte Osei on the 8th of December, when she said the IT system at the headquarters has been compromised.
Yes, let's stick to this. You're saying that there was the other side alleged that there were some irregularities, and so they called for a recount at the collation center.
Exactly.
And I asked whether your polling agents were there.
Well, yes, they were there. That's why we actually.
And were they satisfied during the recount of the ballots?
We boycotted everything. We haven't signed any declaration. For example, in our Memphis Central, the military had to be brought in for the results to be declared. However, we directed that they boycotted. We haven't signed any documentation, so we're not part and parcel of that.
If you say you boycotted, do I take it to mean that you left the collation center?
No, the declaration after for example, Swaman, which is the smallest constituency in the region, 46 constituencies, we were winning, and then overnight it was changed, and NDC are leading with 12 points allegedly. Now, because it's the smallest constituency, so the figures, you realize that the figures that were taken wasn't that much, because then if it's huge, then we're going to know. But if you look at it in percentage-wise, then there's a problem there. Now, we boycotted it because they called the military in and all that, and we didn't want anything like that to happen, untoward to happen. We believe in the rule of law, so we are resorting to the court. But
yes,
what I'm saying is...
We'll get to that. I just want to get the understanding that if you had issues with the recount, what specific issues did you raise, and were those issues heeded? Were your demands heeded? We called for another recount, but we were told it wasn't going to be done. We can resort to court, which we are doing. And we are going to court, if you allow me to finish, with buttressing. Our point was buttressed by Charlotte Osei, that the IT system at the EC headquarters was compromised. If that happens, then it's going to cascade to the constituency. For example, one person sits behind a computer and the figures are being called from the agents, and then he inputs them. Once he inputs them, he's the one who has privy to that information. After that, then it comes to us. So we believe something happened, and that has been buttressed by Charlotte Osei. We are going to court to seek a few reliefs. One, that an injunction be placed on the swearing in of these 5 constituencies, those who think they've won, because we do not want people to go to Parliament through fraud. So we are going to stop that. 2, another relief that we are seeking is that the court directs that all the ballot papers are recounted. And there's something that I think maybe people might be thinking that might be happening. About 2 weeks ago, or 10 days prior to the elections, we lost 6 ballot boxes in the Western region. 2 have been found. We haven't found 4. That is still in circulation. So if anybody is thinking of bringing that 4 in there, if we go to court and the court directs that, we go and do a recount, and these ballot boxes find their way into that realm, we are going to go ask the court to ask for the elections to be cancelled, and then another election held. Interesting claims you're making there. 4 ballot boxes were found missing, you're claiming that 2 have been retrieved. Yes. During the time those ballot boxes were missing, did the EC know about it? Did any of you raise issues with it? Yeah, we raised issue. It was in the public domain. I think it happened on the 17th of November when they were being transported from Takrady to Takwa and Swaib. We were not informed of that, but we got wind of it. Apparently 2 of them fell out of the back of the bucket of the pickup, and 4 were in circulation. Later on, we were told that somebody, the hairdresser, brought 2 of them. So that's 4, basically, we haven't found them. So they're still in circulation. I'm saying if anybody's thinking of bringing them in there, then we'll further go to the court and ask the court to say, cancel the results, and then we go to restore. All we are doing is we're not attacking the EC. We're helping them to restore integrity. How do you know somebody intends to do that? If anybody's thinking, I'm just talking to the wind, but if anybody wants to grab it, then that's what we're going to do. Now you're talking about taking a legal suit against, on this particular issue. When do you intend to take that action? We started the process over the weekend. Yesterday,
our legal team in the region met some of our parliamentary candidates. We're putting evidence together today. They're going to continue with that. Once they finish with that, they give us the report. Then we speak to the national hierarchy, and then we proceed to court.
How sure are you that you're going to get anything out of this?
We believe in the rule of law of Ghana. The courts have said that. And you know one thing, some people are saying that because President Mahama was sworn in 2012, and then we went to court and it didn't happen, so they're using that lacuna. But you see, the court system evolves in Ghana, so they can stop that. If people are using fraud and using lacunas in the law, I believe the rule of law to stop that for us.
Let's take it this way. What if indeed there were genuine mistakes during the first collation and the recount had to be done, and after the court's case, it turns out that indeed what the recount's results got is actually what you're supposed to have in the constituency?
There are two issues to that. Then we believe, as I said, we believe in the rule of law. Then we've actually helped the EC to restore the integrity in our judicial system. However, say we go to court and we still find things not being good and the results come out, then we're going to use the NADO's criterion, which he used on the 29th of August when he wasn't satisfied with the court decision, but he allowed it to go.
You're the Western Regional Secretary for the NPP.
Yeah.
Of course, you won some seats in that region as well. Is there anything different the party intends to do for the oil city?
Okay,
the oil region, let me say.
Okay, thank you. One, we've always said the best comes from the west, which is the Western region. But under NDC, we kept getting the worst. In the Western region, I think is the richest region in the country. About 63% of Ghana's resources come from there. Gold, bauxite, manganese, and all that. And then recently we got oil in commercial quantities. Now, yet we have the poorest individuals in the Western region. The road networks, if you also Jabuso and all. That is how come Nanado said we are going to divide the region into two. Now, once we've done that, we believe the oil is coming from there. Previously, the chiefs asked for 10% of that revenue. We are saying that's good. But then in our manifesto, we've captured that. We said we're going to make the Western region an oil hub. We're going to bring GNPC into the Western region. So these are measures that NPP has put in place for us to develop Western region. And I believe through that, there will be it's going to cascade into other areas where tourism and all that is going to boost. So the NPP has a vision for the people from the Western region, and I believe that will come to pass. And
briefly and finally, if I get you correctly, one of the areas you're going to look at is to fix the roads, the road network. Yeah, road network, but this time it's not going to be infrastructure. It's going to be infrastructure alongside economic development. Thank you very much, Charles Bissio. He is the NPP Western Regional Secretary, and he's been in the studio talking to us about some court issues in that particular region. The NPP intends to take some action on some 5 constituencies he claims were stolen from them during the just ended elections. You're still watching News Desk on Joy News, your election headquarters. Stay with us. We'll be back with more. You're welcome back to News Day. Now, barely a week after the presidential and parliamentary elections, activities are back to normal at the Klote-Korle constituency, one constituency that was heated prior to the polls, with the NDC's Dr. Zenato Rawlings and the NPP's Philip Addison coming head-to-head. Philip Addison was defeated by the daughter of the former First Gentleman. But interestingly, President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo beat the NDC's John Mahama. Joy News' Joseph Akablay has been engaging residents of the constituency who expect their drainage system to be put in good shape.
Park that is in Osu, that is still within the Klote-Korle constituency, like you said. It's pretty interesting. All activities are back to normal here. Some days back when we visited the place during the election hearing period, lots of activities. You have people singing and dancing, lots of deafening music in terms of the campaign songs. Very popular among them, obviously, was that Onaput sound. But this morning, whilst moving through the streets and heading here to the Mandela Park, it's quite calm here. Activities have returned to normal. You have people going about their everyday activities as though nothing happened over the weekend and as well as the earlier part of last week. But this constituency is pretty interesting in the sense that after the declaration of results for the constituency, interestingly, the daughter of former President Jerry John Rawlings emerged victorious for the parliamentary post. But in terms of the presidential, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who now is the president-elect, beat John Dramani Mahama by some 2,000 votes. So, like in local parlance, they say a skirt and blouse phenomenon took place in this constituency. So all is calm. I'm joined here by two persons who are within the constituency. I'll be engaging them to find out from them what exactly they make of the electoral results, and more importantly, what they expect from not just the president-elect, but also from their parliamentary candidates who they elected going forward in this year election. What's your name?
My name is Henry.
Well, Henry, first let me find out from you, even before the election, for both presidential and parliamentary, who were you expecting to win the polls?
As for me, I was expecting Senator to win.
How about the presidential?
Presidential, I mean, Nana Akufo-Addo, you know.
Now, someone, this is interesting, Mama V. This is someone who says, who agrees with that, what actually transpired. He says he expected Senator to win and also expected Nana Akufo-Addo to also win. Can you help me appreciate why exactly you not like someone from the same party to win for both presidential and parliamentary?
As for me, I don't know what to say much, but as for me, I believe like I know as for Senator, you have come and do many things for us for a year, you know, but me, I did MPP. Like, I'll vote for Addison, but me, Senator, you have done many things for our family members, and things for you. So I believe he will do more, you know. That's why I said he will win. And he did too. She did too, eh? Yeah, and she did.
So when the results was declared, where exactly were you when the results was announced?
I was here now. We police station today, yes, so we're here, we were here jubilating and things, you know.
You were excited?
Yeah, then the next day we went out, then, you know, celebrating.
This is one gentleman who obviously caused the skirt and blouse phenomenon that we saw here following the declaration of results. But let me come to my left-hand side. There's another lady here I'll be speaking to. I'll be engaging her in tree and I'll be translating alongside. I'll come back to you, Henry. Just hold on for me. First, answer na yebeto abane krampo or constituency and say, you know, now why na now supporting and now hearing him say obedi nkunimu election.
My name says Nato never winning.
Na presidential this way.
John Mama never winning.
Adena now pese anka John Mama ne Zaneto omo winning for both parliamentary and presidential.
John Mama no say why niama bebre. Why niama bebre nti so I had the end I suspect say obe winning.
Well, so I first asked her before the election who she expected to emerge victorious, and she mentioned that for the parliamentary she expected Dr. Senator Rawlings to emerge victorious, whilst for the presidential she expected John Dramani Mahama, the outgoing president, to also emerge victorious. I then asked her to enable me understand why exactly she opted for those two, but she made the point that it's because of the achievements of John Dramani Mahama in this constituency, for which reason she wanted those two to emerge victorious. Let me move again to Henry once again. Now the elections is over. I mean, it's done. More importantly, you'll be looking forward to see some changes in your constituency. What do you expect to happen? What's your expectation, not just from your parliamentary candidate, but also from the president-elect?
Like,
what do you expect the president-elect to do for it?
Free education is coming. Means if I get 2 kids, so free education is coming. I'm proud because, you know, I won't be able to pay school fees or, you know, yeah.
Apart from that, what else do you look for? Is there anything in the neighborhood here that you think must be done?
As for anything in the neighborhood, as for that one, the parliamentary will take off it. They have many things here to do. The gutters, the inclusive, if you go to the seaside, you'll see many things, many rubbish and things. First, Zoom Lion used to come and clean, but I can see they are not working no more. You have to come and do all of that, so our community will look clean, you know.
You interestingly, you said you expect the parliamentary candidates to do that. That is your parliamentary MP-elect. In the event after 4 years, you still have your gutters, your drainage system in that poor condition. Will you be voting for her again?
I mean, if like she's not doing her responsibilities, I won't be able to vote again, you know. We want our neighborhood to be clean for us, so you know that.
Well, so interesting thoughts there coming from Henry. Henry says he has high expectations of Dr. Zanetta Rawlings, but he expects her to deal with the sanitation issues around here, and if she fails to do that, she's not likely to get his vote in the next general election. Ms. Hembra Ohobium, Kroman say, Mantilman say, problems Ben and move face here to say Amatua Bamo before Forever be winning for parliamentary office, so President Sakufa de winning. Yama Ben Ocean him so be ye Mantim Hamam. Yama Ben Ocean say obey ha like problems Ben and move face here, Moshe say be able to solve our problems.
Oh, yeah, facing problem baby was she got an into mosquito tontro wo hani na why adia bebre nti e facing adia bebre e pese omunye maye se so to a so no koko mekomachumi
we rank for them
koko nipa to me, or make come to me and you are me talk, but Sani Asabi a beer before Sana Sabi that I got and the Kagafe, no more to me can be fair. Was an aquena Sani be Senator again, Sasai, Osuclo, Leclotes, Sasai, Ebomode, she do mamma now about election, about Suclote, about never rally a beer name. I yell me, I get about me says, Meneva yell. Akufa do bedin me catch my sister we akufa do bedin enti why niama bebre ba shudi ehwe ya denu.
Well, so the point she made was the fact that she had some expectations in terms of the president-elect and the parliamentary candidates. More importantly, she expects the issues of sanitation, just similar to those thoughts shared by Henry. Also, the drainage system, he wants it to put in good condition. And she makes the point that even before the election, she had a sense of the fact that President John Dramani Mahama will not emerge victorious in this constituency. She mentions that he feels the president didn't campaign enough here in the constituency, but that notwithstanding, she still has high expectations of the new government and expects a lot of things to be done in the constituency here. So this is the situation here at the Mandela Park here in Osu Klote Kwale constituency here.
We'll be back with more.